Okay, welcome ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host Shane Gilfeather, and you've joined us for the next instalment of the GT3 League for 2020. Tonight we're at Portugal, this time in the GT3s. Last week we're in the Formula 1s, but this week definitely in the GT3s. We've got three 25-minute races tonight. We're currently in quali. Each track length for the chicane, which we've included for tonight's race. The track length will now be 4.684 kilometres. First opened in 2008, and it's a beautiful track. We love it here at Portugal. So just to bring up the race schedule for the year. Which I can't find at the moment. Here we go. So tonight we're at Portugal. We've got 3 races to go after this. We've got one more before the end of the year, and that'll be in 2 weeks' time at Road Atlanta. But tonight we're at Portugal at the Portimao circuit. All right, we're going live on track, and we're currently following Alan Marks at the moment. Sorry, that's Anders Anderson in the Lamborghini for Barwell Motorsport. Anders is Swedish, and he's joining us in the store. And we've got a couple other drivers in the store. I'll go through them at the moment. We've got Alan Marks. I'll actually bring up driver cams. So we've got a couple of cameras on tonight. We're going to follow Alan Marks again tonight. That's not Alan. This is Alan Marks. Look for him in the yellow Ferrari. Took out the round win last round at Spa. Very dominating performance from him. He's received a warning before this round, so we'll see how he goes. But we've got Thomas Foster up on top. I'll just bring up the live map. So that just shows you the track map and everyone on it. So I've got a few drivers here tonight, 12 in total. We've had a couple of late entries, so we'll go through them. But that's Alan Marks on screen. We've also got driver cam on Thomas Foster, who's not on track at the moment. We'll go to David Borg, who's also racing with us in the store. He's in a beautifully presented Porsche. And that's him on Sim 1 with the tongue hanging out. Trying to get a good lap in. He's been punching the time so far, so we should see that reduce a little bit more before the end of quali. But it's a busy circuit. You can see the guys around the circuit, everyone finding some space. Looks like Alan Marks has moved up into P2. Halil Caesar's got a new livery for us tonight. And we'll just go see Halil currently in P3. He's got the new Cooler Master Ferrari 488. Loving that car. We're also expecting, we've got Mick Freer, who's down the back. He's not posting a time. You can see him overshooting the track limit, so that'll disallow his time. So he hasn't actually set a time, but in practice he was definitely up the top 3. So if he gets a clean one in, we'll see him climb up the table a bit more. Graham Webb's joining us. Not too sure where he's from at the moment. We haven't introduced, but hope he has a good race tonight. He's been putting in some consistent times, and he's currently in P4 at the moment. He's just bailed on that lap. Got 2.5 minutes to go in the qualifier session, so he's coming for a fresh set. Scott Flack, the usual, usually see him up the front. And where is he on the moment? He's in P6. Currently on a flyer in the first sector, fastest sector of the quali session at the moment. 200s up on everyone else. You can see the little flames on the top right-hand corner in the track map. That indicates to me that they're on a flyer and in P6, as you can see, number 6. they're on a hot lap at the moment. So also number 12, that's Mick Frere, who I mentioned earlier. We'll quickly go back to Scott Flack because he's did have the fastest second sector, but that's just been pipped by, I'd say, David Borg maybe. And this is Scott Flack crossing the line. We'll see where he ends up, currently in P7. And he puts the Lamborghini up into P2. So 8/100ths of a second behind the leader. And he's parked it in the pit. So that'll be it for them. I will see who else is out on track at the moment. Got Bradley Martin from our V8 league. He's jumped in the Maranello Ferrari 488. Currently punching some times in at the moment. Okay, so who's still out on track? We've got Hello Cease in the Ferrari 488 as well. Cooler Master entry. Black and white this time, no purple. Quite a cool looking livery. Okay, so it looks like the end of quali, and Hiller was just pulled out of that one. He wasn't on he's still on his outlap, so he wasn't able to cross the line before the checkered flag. So let's see where they've ended up. We'll see if they're still on number 6. Cameron Webb, I don't think he's on a flyer at the moment. No, he's pulled out of that one. Everyone getting in the pits. Anders Anderson still out in the Lamborghini. Troy Cieslawski also with us. He had one of his best results with us, as we see Anders Anderson just clipping the wall. Hope they get that repaired before the start of the race. And James Moyer jumping back in the Bentley. So he's looked at who's top of the pops and copied that car, I hope. And that is the end of quali. So I'll have a look at the quali results now. So finishing up on pole will be Thomas Foster. Closely behind him is Scott Flack in the Lamborghini. Mick Frere, as I said before, moved up as expected up to second row of the grid. First race with us tonight. He's just pipped Alan Marks in the 488 for P3, so Alan will be starting in P4. Halil Caesar will be starting on the third row of the grid in P5. Next to him will be Graham Webb, Bradley Martin, David Borg, Gonzalo Rodriguez. He's just joined in at the last minute, so hopefully he stays with us. Anders Anderson, both in P9. And we've got SS in position 10, Troy Cieslawski P11, and James Muir jumping in late. They're not posting a time for, he'll be starting in P12. All right, just explaining to the guys, it's 25 minutes long. Explaining to take it easy turn 1, because this is quite a tight, awkward turn with the chicane, so it should be interesting, very entertaining for us to watch, so we'll see how they get through. Okay, so it will be a formation lap, so we better get it underway. So we can show you the grid. Okay, so the guys know it's a formation lap. Okay, so the guys just rolling off the grid. Okay, beautifully presented circuit here at Portimao, Algarve. Okay, so I should have brought up the starting grid. Okay, so Thomas Foster, Scott Flack will be on the front row. Behind them, Mick Fred, Alan Marks. P4, P5, third row of the grid. Hill will Caesar in the cooler mass entry, the black and white Ferrari 488 on screen. P9 will be Anders Henderson, Troy Jaslowski and James Moyer. We've had one person with us, or it could be next. We did have 12 guys on there. Looks like SS has dropped out. Okay, so he said thanks for the host and he'll join us later on. Okay, back to the action. Bring up a quick drive again. We'll follow David Ball because I love the livery on the car there. That's David on screen at the moment. Bring up the map. So there's a 11 car field. Beautiful presented Porsche. Thomas Foster will be driving in the Bentley. We'll see how those tyres last for this circuit. Tyres will be a thing. It's 25 minutes long. There's no required pit stop, but that just means you've got to drive the car a bit differently, make those tyres last, because they generally won't last to the end of the race if you push it too hard, especially this circuit. Okay, so the guys are all waiting to grid up now. David Borg on screen. So we'll bring up Thomas Foster up front. And that's the green flag. Oh, Mick Frigg getting a flyer down the main straight. Thomas Foster caught napping, so it's a two Lamborghinis up the front. Oh, and there comes Alan Marks, the torpedo we call him. He's chocking up the field. That's letting Mick Frigg just run away with this at the moment. All the action's back. Where is Thomas Foster? He's back in a P9 off pole. He's dropped a few spots now. So back up front, we're looking at Alan Marks really bottlenecking everybody. Coming in at the back turn, this tight hairpin. He's trying to turn in. Okay, so that's Little Caesar just running a bit wide there. Thomas Foster on screen in the Bentley. You can see there right behind Alan Marks, trying to chase him down. See if we can go on board. On board, you can see we're on board with, let's go with Thomas Foster. No, that's not a good shot. on the bonnet now of Thomas Foster chasing Alan Marks for P4. You can see the yellow Lamborghini up ahead of the road. Nick Freer going to take us across for the first lap of the race. It's 25 minutes long, so 2 minutes a lap almost. So I dare say we'll get just over 10 laps each race. So Scott Flack in P2, pulling up tight, closing in on Mick Freer. So is Helio Caesar, all the Ferraris chasing down the Lamborghini, and we've got Alan Marks in another Ferrari in P4. Further back we've got Graham Webb in the BMW M6. David Borg in the Porsche. Beautiful shot, love that car. Bradley Martin also a 488 Maranello, and the Bentley behind him, that's James Moyer. And Troy Szyslowski in the other Ferrari 488, and Anders Anderson in P11 in the Lamborghini. Back up front where the action is, well, we're still watching Tom Foster on screen. We can watch Alan Marks in P3. Oh, Mick Freer's just locked up under brakes there, and he's trying to rejoin. He's dropped a couple of spots from third to first. And that's bringing Alan Marks tight up the back. You can see on the screen there how close Mick Freer is in front of Alan Marks. Thomas Foster's trying to get up into the action as well. So it's three yellow cars side by side. Mick Freer just running a bit wide there. Scott Flack running away with it now. He's got a 0.7 second lead ahead of these guys, and Helio Caesar's trying to chase him. So it's Freer, Marks and Foster. It's a drag race down. We'll follow these two as they go into the braking zone. Alan Marks on the inside. And that's Thomas Foster behind him. That's Foster behind Alan Marks at the moment. And that's Foster trying to chase down Alan Marks up in front in the yellow 488. Coming into the very awkward off-cambered braking zone. Got to get back down in the second gear. We get it turned up the hill without wheel spinning. They're starting to settle down now with Flack out, almost a second out in front. These three, definitely the race of the night so far. Just bring up the intermediate time so we can see the gaps there. Looks like Foster's Foster's trying to drift around this outside of Alan Marks and almost gets it done. He's just going to dive up the inside here. Just taps the back of Alan Marks. You can see Foster's triceps working hard, trying to get past Alan Marks. I'm losing my voice just commentating on it. Those triceps are blinding from here. And that's Scott Flack crossing the line for the third lap of the race. And Helio Caesar also safely in P2 at the moment. Scott Flack's now 1.2 ahead of Helio Caesar. P2. Mick Freer still holding these guys at bay. This is the battle. You see Foster just getting it sideways, trying to get the traction down early, but car's just rotating as he's had the wheel turned while he's done that. Deep into the hairpin, these two are doing a really good job. Freer, Marks and Foster, and here comes Graham Webb in the BMW. You see Alan getting a better run out there, but Freya's got good position for the next corner. Freya's racing with us from the Northern Beaches in Sydney here in New South Wales. You can either race from home or in the store with us. Oh, and there's a lot of action going on here. What's going on? Hello, Caesar. And that's Mick Freya just spinning off there. Not too sure what happened there. That's another mistake, but here comes another bunch. He's got to get back out on track and rejoin before the others join him up close. But that's David Borg, Bradley Martin and James Moyer. Oh, look at this battle, this four-way battle now. And that's a penalty for, I didn't catch who that was. It could have been for Freya for exceeding track limits. Not his fault, but unfortunately he's taken a part of the track, which has cost him a bit of a penalty. And Mick Freya looks like he's come in to serve his penalty. That's pretty quick. So Foster in P4 at the moment. And we've got Borg and Brad Martin. This is a good battle here. This is battle for P6. You can see Bradley Martin also getting on the gas a bit early over the crest there, and he loses traction on the rear as they brake hard into the hairpin. David Borg taking the long way around, not getting caught up in the cambered section deep down, because it's hard to accelerate out of that like the carousel at Nordschleife. You can't accelerate too hard while you're in that bowl. You have to wait till you come around, so go around the outside definitely helps. That's David Borg in P6, starting to stretch away a bit from Brad Martin in P7 with James Moyer behind them in the Bentley Continental. Scott Flack running away with it now. 5-second gap over Helio Caesar with that earlier incident, costing him a bit of time, but he's managed to pull it back. And he's got Alan Marks close behind, but this is the closest battle of the on track at the moment. We'll go through. Scott Flack crossing the start-finish line. You can see Helio Caesar coming down the main straight as well. So that's the gap there. That's 5.68. But here comes Alan Marks. And that's Alan Marks on screen at the moment. You can see him working hard. Left, right through the chicane on turn 1. He's looks like he's gaining a little bit on Flack, but where's Caesar gone? I've just missed what happened to Caesar. He must have spun again on that chicane. Looks like his own doing, because there was no one with him, but right behind him, Borg and Martin are closing up again, probably through that chicane again on turn 1. Really hard to get the braking right, as it's a downhill descent into a heavy braking zone. So to judge exactly where you're going to go and how strong your tyres are at the time determines how well you're going to pull up the car in time for that aforementioned chicane. So Alan Marks promoted P2 after Caesar just making that mistake, and here comes Foster in P3. It looks like he's drifting around the circuit. A lot of these crests are off camber, so an easy way to offset the car, get the car loose, and Foster's just got the racecraft to know how to handle that car around the circuit in the off camber sections. This nice long straight. You have to actually back off around about here just to get the car to turn in a little bit, because if you're on full noise, the car will just push out off the edge here onto the right hand side of the circuit just there, and you'll get penalised for exceeding track limits. But that's Foster in P3, Graham Webb, and that's a penalty for David Borg. That's probably a track limit penalty as well. He's got James Moyer right behind him. I'm trying to see where they are at the moment, but Borg just dropped back into P8. I think that's him coming to serve his penalty. That's Anders Anderson moving up into P8 now. And Troy Cieslawski in the 488 right behind him. Flack's got a 7-second gap now ahead of Marks. Foster in P3. Webb, Caesar in P5. Martin P6. Oh, someone's just locked up there. Looks like Anders Anderson. Oh, and he's just spun out right in front of Troy Cieslawski there. So he'll gain that position. P8 from Anderson. Anders has just got to settle down now, get back into his rhythm and put his head down and just get in those consistent laps if he wants to hold P9 in the top 10. So Marks is slightly closing in on Scott Flack up in the lead, but trying to see how long we've got left. Oh, Thomas Foster's closing up that gap. It's only 1.2 seconds at the moment. Things are hotting up in here. That's Thomas Foster on screen there. Sponsored by Foster's Fence and Fix and Racecentre. Goes through turn 1 quite nicely, nice and smooth, not hitting the sausages, upsetting the car, getting out of that section as early as he can, but he's just run wide a bit to get on the back of Alan Marks. Still getting those rears nice and loose. Comes over the crest nice and smooth as he chases down and reduces that gap. Still 1.2, but it looks a lot closer than that as we see it on screen. That's Foster hanging it out as he gets out of the hairpin, wiping the brow. So Graham Webb in the first of the BMWs up in P4 at the moment. He's been staying out of trouble and just gaining those positions, letting everyone else make those mistakes as Caesar's dropped down to P6. Could be struggling with those tyres, I'm not too sure. See who's pitted or come through pit lane. There's no one actually pitted for tyres as such, but a couple of guys have come through pit lane to serve penalties, as we saw Mick Freer copping an early one, unfortunately, through that earlier incident, trying to get back on track and cutting the track. They were up the front now. Alan Marks in P2, get rid of that gap to next. That's what we like to see, get some relative. Thomas Foster still sitting around that 1.2, 1.1. I can see him scratching his head on the driver cam. You can't see it on screen, but he's trying to figure out how to get past Alan Marks, and he's got to get past. It's 10 minutes to go now, coming to the 10-minute mark. As long as the clock's gone to 0 by the time the leader crosses the line, that'll be the end of the race. If he crosses the line with 3 seconds to go, that means we're all going around one more time. So it's Scott Flack up front. Give him some credit. He's in the green Ferrari 488. And Moya looks like gone to the pit, so that's promoting a few guys up a few positions. See if that's for tyres or not. Maybe he's unable to manage those tyres, as we see Anders Anderson just flashing through the tyres, and that's David Borg right behind him, chasing him down. Braking deep into turn 1, just locking up the inside fronts. Doing a really good job there. Graham Webb back up front. P4 as we mentioned before. Brad Martin's only 5 seconds behind, and Caesar's catching Martin in P6, only 2.3 seconds behind. Now you can see Caesar getting on the back of Martin in the 488s. So he'll probably assume that position quite soon, moving him up into P5. We'll keep an eye on that. But it looks, and he might go on the inside here. Brad Martin going wide. I don't know if he's let Caesar through. But Caesar will just tuck into the draft and come out down the main straight. James Moyer, unfortunately, getting a pit lane infringement penalty. Hope that probably speeding in pit lane, probably the entrance rather than the exit. And that's a little Caesar moving up into P5 at the moment. We've seen Foster just drop back. It was 1 second, now it's an 8-second gap back to back from Alan Marks to Foster there. So guys spreading out. We've still got Martin and Caesar. That's our closest couple on track at the moment. Martin getting back to position P5. I shouldn't have moved away from this too because it's the closest one. We've actually got Freer charging up behind too. So Freer just moving up into P7 or swapping positions with Troy Cieslawski, but Freer getting the best of them both. Oh, he's copped another penalty. That's probably, you can see him going outside track limits, so that's why the position of Cieslawski's changes as he's exiting track limits there. Looks like Foster's putting on the front lockers to get the rears to come around. He's making the rears light up. Probably the fronts are burning out a lot more. Moyer just dropping out of the race. Probably sick of all the penalties that he's receiving through track limits. So what do we got? We've got Freer still in P7, but unfortunately he's going to have to come through the lane for another pit lane penalty. He's got 3 laps to serve it. So I can see coming down the main straight, that's Bradley Martin and Hillel Caesar. Coming down the main straight, Caesar deciding when to overtake, getting out of the draft. Now it's a drag race. Drag race of the horses. It's Caesar on the inside line in the black and white. Oh, and he's making that mistake, but Brad Martin just putting on the clampers to avoid contact. I think that's where Caesar's coming undone, is through the turn 1 chicane. It's cost him. He wasn't comfortably in P2 for a while there. Scott Flack still dominating our front in P1 at the moment for Rinaldi Racing in the Ferrari 488. He's 8 seconds ahead of Alan Marks in P2. Caesar's not really dropping Martin off. Martin's doing a great job. It's his first race tonight with us in the GT3. He's trying to get used to the Ferraris as opposed to the V8s. Quite a heavy, robust car to drive, but it definitely improves your racecraft, the V8s. So he should find this one a cinch, but tyre management's everything. Especially this circuit, it offers a lot of front end loading, so the front tyres are going to be the ones that really burn out on this circuit. You can see on the track map they're all quite spread out, 9 and 10. Who's that? Anderson and Borg. Borg's 2 seconds behind Anders Anderson. We'll go back to them, see where they're at. You see Anders on screen there in the Lamborghini Hurricane GT3. And he's driving for Barwell Motorsport. Just struggling to keep it straight coming over the crest. It's easy to get the light up the rears and get it loose. And we saw earlier just making that mistake. Can't get on the gas too early there, just wobbling. And that's bringing David Borg up into the fold for a P9. He's got just under 4 minutes, David Borg, to gain that position for an extra point. So we've got 3 races tonight, all 25 minutes long. The next race will be reverse grid of the quali results. And then I'll accumulate all the points and set the grid for P3. from the results of the first two races. But with 3.5 minutes to go, we'll go back up front. That's Scott Flack again. As that gap between Anderson and Borg's just stretched out to 2.6 seconds. So I've got Scott Flack P1, Alan Marks P2. That's him crossing the line. Thomas Foster coming down the main straight as well. That's the start-finish line there. Graham Webb doing a great job in the M6 for Team SRM. And that's Bradley Martin still with Halil Caesar. So Caesar really struggling with the, you mentioned before, he's struggling to get the feel in the wheel. So he feels like he's floating with this car, so it's hard to feel what the front end's doing. It looks like he's getting the rear end spinning out, but this is where he usually makes the mistake. He lets Martin, Martin's just being too courteous there. Caesar almost giving him the tap into the corner. There's still Martin and Caesar for, this is a battle for P6. That's 2 minutes to go call we heard over the radio, so both running a bit wide there. Caesar's struggling to keep it straight. Just getting it loose. A bit of a tank slapper there. He's trying to come up the inside, but Bradley Martin diving really deep under brakes there, keeping his position. Great sounding cars too, the Ferraris. All the GT3 cars give a beautiful note and sound. Oh, Caesar almost clipping the rear of Martin as he goes up the crest there. Oh, Caesar just locking up, getting the rears to turn around. Don't know if that was intentional. Lost a bit of momentum, but he try and get up the inside. See the gap's only 0.2 of a second, but we can definitely see it's very close. We've also got Cieslawski and Anderson out on track at the moment. That's only 0.1 second gap as Cieslawski looks up the inside, but that gate gets shut real quick. It's a new car for Troy Cieslawski. He's usually in that Bentley, but tonight he's chosen the 488 as they definitely dominated at Spa. Caesar and Martin both driving these cars exactly the same. They're glued to each other. Just both overshooting the exit of the chicane there at turn 1. Okay, so that's the clock done. Where's Scott Flack? Okay, so we've only got a couple of corners to go in the race. It's the famous turn 14, famous for the grill or the drainage popping up during the Formula 1 qualifier sessions. So here they come round onto the main straight. David Borg just pulling up, letting Scott Flack go for the checkered flag. Dominating performance from Scott Flack, maintaining that lead. Crossing the line ahead of Alan Marks, as you can see close behind. Thomas Foster coming on the main straight at the moment, 8 seconds behind Marks, and we see him in the Bentley just taking P3 for this one. And Graham Webb coming round as well, keeping it cool and taking P4, well-deserved spot for him. But the battle between Caesar and Martin, not too sure if he's waiting up for, this is for the finish. Don't know, maybe we got the tail end of it getting loose. It looks like Caesar's got the better of the two towards the end there. And this is Caesar and Martin coming round for P5. and 6 respectively. Brad Martin won't have enough to draft him over the start finish line as it's early, and Mick Freer coming on the main straight as well. Oh, he just runs wide trying to push it. I don't want to see him getting another penalty before the start finish line. He'll take P7 from Jaslowski coming on main straight, and there's Anders Anderson almost trying to get up into P8. And that's him crossing the line there. David Borg unfortunately copped that a couple of penalties. Okay, so race results. No, not that one. What's that? Race results. It's Scott Flack, Alan Marks, Thomas Foster. In P3, Graham Webb. In 4, Hillel Caesar. 5, Bradley Martin. Great race between those two. He finishes in P6. Mick Freer unfortunately comes home in P7 in front of Troy Jaslowski. Then it was Anders Anderson, David Borg. And who was after that? That was and James Moyer coming home in P11. Okay, so we'll go to a commercial break. We'll sort the grid for race 2 and we'll be back after the messages.
Uniquely Australian. Ned, Australian.
Okay, welcome back, ladies and gents. We're getting ready for race 2. The boys have just got a grid up. So a couple of guys have had to leave, so they won't be in for the second race. This race is going to be reverse grid, and once they roll off, we'll bring up the grid conditions for you. Alright, so they're off for their formation lap. We'll bring up the positions. The starting order, reverse grid of first quali, so that means James Moyer didn't set a lap. He'll be starting the race from pole this race. Troy Cieslewski next to him in P2. Anders Anderson P3. I just missed who's 4. Bradley Martin on third row of the grid. Next to him, Halil Caesar, the 2 Ferraris we saw in the first race. Alan Marks P7. Scott Flack race 1 winner. He'll be starting P8. And Thomas Foster, who started on pole, will be starting from the back. Okay. There's James Moyer on screen at the moment. See if we can bring up a driver cam. This will be Thomas Foster on screen. He's in the yellow Bentley. Our other driver cam is Alan Mark. Let's go find Alan Marks. That's Alan there. You can see him warming up the tyres and the full motion sims. A lot of undulation on this circuit, and that's why it's a great circuit to drive on. A lot of off-camber undulating turns. And our other driver cam is David Borg, and we'll go to him. He'll be starting the race in P4 in that Porsche effort team effort racing. Have I mentioned I love that livery? It's really nice, comes up really well on track. Okay, time to give the guys up front a bit of coverage as they'll be taking us through. Another 25-minute race. Okay. Just waiting for the guys to grid up at the back now. Thomas Foster's coming in last. Okay, we've got 6 seconds to go before the start of the race. Watch them all sprint for that first descent. Troy Cieslewski caught sleeping. Anders Anderson's got a great jump up the front. The blue Lamborghini, and here comes the yellow Ferrari up the inside. They all get through quite cleanly. It's Bradley Martin up taking the lead through. They're all congested through turn 1, but they're all through cleanly. It looks like David Borg up the back there. And James is getting caught on that ripple strip. It's Caesar in the black Cooler Master 488, closely followed by Alan Marks in the yellow. David Borg still warming up his tyres in the background there. There's 3 wide down, and here comes Scott Flack trying to get up the inside, but getting into Foster as he's just caught trying to get up to Troy Cieslewski, but Troy's shut the door on him, protecting his line, and he's... Oh, and there goes Anders Anderson. I could hear the noise inside the shop here as the Swedish driver racing with us from the store here as he rejoins in P9. So it's Bradley Martin up the front, really coming to grips with the Ferrari 488. He's only just hopped in the GT3s and he's already leading the race ahead of Halil Caesar, a seasoned GT3 driver. Scott Flack still down the back with Foster trying to get past Troy Cieslawski, but Cieslawski covering his lines really well. This will be a 4-car drag down the main straight. We'll go back up and watch Brad Martin get a good run down the main straight. See if I can bring up his speed. It's up to 240 kilometres down the main straight, 243 up to 244 before the heavy braking zone. He's taking it nice and easy. That's brought Alan Marks up behind. So, whoa, look at that. That's Troy Cieslawski hitting the curb and spinning it. He's on his side and he's just rolled back on. So no need for a safety car there, but that was a spectacular roll from Troy Cieslawski, and he's dropping back to the back of the race now. Scott Flack has got Thomas Foster right up behind him. David Borg's got to be careful, otherwise he'll receive another penalty for exceeding track limits, but we'll go up the front still. It's these two. We saw these two battling in race 1 for P5. Brad just going too wide there. Gonna have to give a warning to although that's a common spot. Not to say it's a good reason, but it's easily overshoot the track limits there. He'll get penalised if he doesn't take a cleaner line. He's trying too hard to stay out front. Just got to smoothen it down. He's got good lines, good pace. Caesar just caught Martin on the back there. Martin braking a bit early. That's 3 Ferraris up front dominating. Then it's James Murray in the Bentley GT3. He's got the other Bentley right behind him, so that's another 3-car battle. Fastest lap of the race goes Alan Marks with a 149.956. Looks like Caesar's got the job done on the inside. Will Alan Marks capitalise? Brad tried to go out wide and come in tight, but that wasn't going to work with the car just sitting there blocking the gap, and Brad Martin's just dropped back a bit there through that bump. You can see in the back there Foster and Flack sitting in P4 at the moment. That's the back of James Muir in P6 in the Bentley, and David Borg, the lone Porsche driver for tonight. That's David Borg in driver cam at the moment. He's racing in store with the full motion D-Box simulator. Oh, he's caught that well, coming over the crest there. You can see the wheel work. David's done a lot of real world racing, so he finds it hard to tune that in for simulator racing because it is such a different style. But he's here having fun anyway, regardless. We've got Alan Marks on screen in the driver cam. He's in P2 behind Halil Caesar. Both of these guys are on their fast laps at the moment. You can see the flames on the track map at the moment. So car number 1 and 3. That's Caesar and Foster. Where did Foster come from? He's leaving Flack behind as Martin's. You can see Mark's just closing in on Caesar into turn 1. But the battle's here in, well, the battle's everywhere, to be honest. These guys are doing a great job. That's Brad Martin in the red Ferrari with Scott Flack behind, Thomas Foster in front. Looks like a set of traffic lights. Green, stop and slow down. Or some might think it means the opposite for orange, but anyway. Rally Martin's racing from home as well, Piermont. as he's in P4 at the moment. Up the front, Caesar and Mark still together, half a second apart. This is P1 and P2 at the moment. Again, they look like they're on flying laps, which I can actually bring up with their sector times. So he's just off his PB in the second sector, but fastest first sector of the track at the moment. The current fastest lap of the race is 1:48.4. Is currently held Caesar with 1:48.4, and he's just beaten that again with a 1:48.3. But Alan Marks has just taken him off that roll with a 1:48.294. So don't go by that new best lap time. Maybe Alan Marks' new fastest lap will come up, as he's the current holder of that little trophy. That's Alan Marks with a 1:48.294. Okay, so where's Foster now? We're expecting Foster to come up closer to these two. So you can see it in the windscreen. Flack just coming over the crest now in the green Ferrari. P4, he'll spend the next 17 minutes just chasing him down, doing what he can, doing what he knows best. Brad Martin's still staying in touch with these guys, but the guys in front are very strong. We see Alan Marks in P2, in the yellow Ferrari, getting the old tongue out for extra speed. You can see it's a juggling act at that part of the circuit, because you're coming over a crest trying to brake and then go back down the undulation. So you're literally just floating the car across the top and slowing the car down enough to take the next curve. So they hook around the couple of last corners onto the main straight. I should do a full lap with, which I've lost, with the corner names, but they don't actually have it at the moment. Oh, there it is. That's where they're coming down the main straight in a Primera. That's our turn 1 chicane. As we come out of the chicane, we take the kink into Lagos. Up over the crest, down the straight, which doesn't really have a name. And this is coming into the hairpin at Toro Bip. Beautiful section. This whole circuit's a great track. We really enjoy racing here. They come up over Samsung, down towards Craig Jones. The tip there. And up into Portimao. This is Sagnes or Sagras. Coming on the main straight through Galp. And that's the last turn onto the main straight. That's Alan Marks taking us around a full circuit. Mr. Tricep Bicep is in P3 at the moment for Foster's Fence and Fix. Promoting all the leagues he's in, Aussie Sim Wars and Down Under Series. All using R Factor 2 as a platform, and we're using R Factor 2 as well. All Australian based leagues that you can join. Always good racing in Australia. We're very respectful of everyone's the racecraft and the sims. You see Foster really closing in on these guys. Flack just holding back there in P4. Maybe saving his tyres towards the end because Foster's probably burning his trying to catch. Oh, he's just putting Foster on Mark's under pressure and he's taking P2 ahead of Alan Marks. Alan Marks just happy to sit behind Foster at the moment. There's still 12 minutes to go. Just around the halfway mark at the moment, so there's plenty of time to be regaining that position, but he doesn't want Flack to come up behind. We'll go further down the field. Bradley Martin's still in P5 at the moment. James Moy in the Bentley. Just over halfway, called over the radio. David Borg. In P7 at the moment, coming on the main straight. And we've got Troy Cieslowski racing with us from Queensland. As I said before, you can race with us wherever you are. We usually have an Indonesian driving with us as well, but looks like he's missed tonight's race as we see Troy just overshooting turn 1 there. Got Anders Anderson racing with us from inside the store as well in Racecentre on our full motion sims. So he comes in the turn 1 braking hard. He's practiced this all night. You can see the rear's just bouncing across as he's trying to get the car under control. He's taken that section really well, staying inside the track limits. There's a good in-car footage in the Lamborghini, taking us around through the hairpin. Taking that really nice and smooth. He hasn't cooked the rears coming out of there, which is an easy thing to do. So drop the gear, keep it inside, down to second gear and up Samsung. He's just locked it up slightly, but he's in good position to get up over the crest. You can see the undulation of this circuit. It's great. Like the Formula 1 drivers were talking about how they come over the crest just looking at the sky, hoping that they'll make it at the other side. Anders Anderson really taking some good lines here. That's the 10-minute remaining mark. As Anders just down in the second, getting in that dip, that cambered corner. Back down to second gear, trying to get in a nice tight, not a hairpin, but it really turns back on itself. Quite an awkward corner. Full speed down the main straight. You have to sort of back off to let the car turn on the inside and then get back on the gas again and let it run out to the outside and hit full speed down the main straight. You can see on the screen, the bottom left hand corner of his telemetry there, we're up to 238, 242, 245. Wow, 250 before it gets into the braking zone. Okay, hello Caesar. It's been out in front the whole race, 15 minutes of the race so far, but now he's got Thomas Foster right behind him. Oh, as Foster goes up the inside, it's going to be side by side coming down the main straight. Wow. This is Foster chasing down Caesar down the main straight. We're on the roof cam of Thomas Foster. And Alan Marks is dropping back 2 seconds behind these guys. You see Caesar really pulling it up nice and easy. Foster getting close under brakes, taking a better out exit and going to drive upside, but Caesar's trying to close the gap, but he can't do it. That Bentley's too big. Both of them come up over the crest now. We've got Thomas Foster on screen chasing down Halil Caesar for Coolermaster Racing. Oh, you can see Foster just getting it loose coming out of the hairpin. So too did Alan Marks in the background there. And Flack's about to get on the back of Alan Marks. So that'll be another battle we should be watching pretty soon. 7.5 minutes to go. There's plenty of time for things to happen. As we see on the timing screens, the races are spreading out a bit from P5 downwards, but we've still got the battle for the top 4. This will compress into either two battles of 2 cars or 1 battle with 4 cars in it. So hopefully it's the latter. As we can see the guys at the back chasing these guys down. Caesar's definitely settled down from the first race. You saw a lot of mistakes creeping in from him, and that cost him dearly as he finished further down P5 in the last race. So that's Foster again chasing down. We'll see if his onboards are any good. No, too high up in the ceiling. He's right next to him. Oh, just a switchback there. Caesar just closing off that inside line because he knew Foster was there before, but Foster stayed out. And you can see the smile on Foster's face as he's playing the cat and mouse game with Caesar. You know he's in control, but pretty soon these guys behind, Alan Marks and Scott Flack, these guys will be closing in pretty soon if these guys up the front battle it out too much. You can see the gaps there. We'll go up on board with Foster in the Bentley up into P1. Foster thrives in these conditions, knowing that he can put Caesar under pressure, and he's just going to wait for Caesar to crack, but Caesar's going to be a tough nut to crack because he's too good for that. He knows better. He's just protecting his line as safe as he can. As they're about to come up and round another lap with 5.5 minutes to go. Will he get up the inside here? You can see the wheel work of Tom Foster really throwing the whole body into it. The Iceman giving us no emotion as he sees it just stretches away a little bit through that section, and there's got to watch Scott Flack on the back of Alan Marks. It's side by side. Alan Marks trying to protect the inside line. Got Alan Marks on screen at the moment. Will he overshoot the corner? Scott Flack trying to go out wide, getting close through this middle section of the chicane, which he does, but he's not going to get the exit as good as Alan Marks. So this battle is dropping off a little bit from the front too, so it will be a 2-pack of 2 cars battles for the front 4 positions. Will he get the job done inside? No, he's decided to show the nose but take the normal line, and that's forced Alan Marks to try and cover on the inside, just waiting to make a mistake. You can see Alan trying to be as smooth as he can to save those tyres. Any scrubbing of the tyres is going to cost him time as Flack's around the outside. He'll try and cut on the inside as Alan goes out. He gets around. Oh, they just bumped door panels. If you can make out on screen, Alan Marks. You can see the undulation that they have to deal with. There's a little bump there. So now it's three Ferraris down the main straight. I'm not too sure what happened to Halil, but he's copped a penalty, so that's cost him big time. He's made the mistake and trying to rejoin the circuit. He's copped a penalty. That's a bit unfair, but unfortunately that's the way it goes. So it leaves the battle for these three. Halil Caesar might choose to stay out on track because he's got 3 laps to serve it. So I dare say there's less than 3 laps to go in the race. Scott Flack just dropping off there as we watch Alan Marks. Halil Caesar just cutting the track a little bit again. Unfortunately, he had no option there. I'm sure Scott Flack wants to get past Caesar knowing that, well, he won't know that he's got a penalty at the moment. As we see again, Halil Caesar got another penalty. So Foster's Scott Flack coming up the inside of Alan Marks, going up Samsung. I'm sure they're sharing paint amongst Halil Caesar, Scott Flack and Alan Marks. We've got yellow, green and black paint on each of the cars. But Caesar's still got to serve that penalty, so he's not really in the picture. But it looks good on screen with a 3 Ferrari car battle for P2. If Halil doesn't serve this penalty, it'll be added on to the end of the race automatically from the stewards. As Alan Marks is dropping off a bit, we'll go up to Scott Flack. Trying to chase down Halil Caesar. Just go through the grid quickly. Thomas Foster up front. There he is with a minute to go. This will probably be the last lap of the race. I'm not too sure actually. Could be right on the money there. He might slow up just to get the checkered flag. Caesar's still got to serve a penalty, but it's showing he's in P2 at the moment. Scott Flack, you can see behind him P3 in the green Ferrari and the yellow Ferrari Alan Marks in P4. Bradley Martin holding solid in yet another Ferrari in P5. James Moyer is not our lone Bentley. He's our second Bentley in P6. That's David Borg in the Porsche for Effort Racing. And that's David on screen there, scratching his head, not sure what's going on there. He's got 13 seconds to go. So someone's come off in Sector 2. Who's that? That's Scott Flack's had an accident or spun, so let's move Alan Marks into P3 and he'll probably make his way up into P4 at the moment. Further down the back after David Borg in P8 is Troy Cieslowski. Through the chicane and Anders Anderson coming down the main straight. It looks like Foster's rounding out the last couple of corners to take win number 2. Win in race 2, so that's Thomas Foster. And how we've got Halil Caesar, Alan Marks, but that'll, once the race finishes and he doesn't serve that penalty, that'll be added on automatically. So that's Caesar, Scott Flack. Okay, so yes, Halil Caesar's dropped back into P4 after that. But it depends where Brad Martin finishes. So he's already finished. No, Brad Martin's taken P4. I'm not too sure what time penalty was given. So we've got James got across the finish line. David Bohr coming around. Looks like Little Caesar dropping down the field, as he might have been given 2 penalties. So that's David Bohr crossing the line, Troy Cieslawski crossing the line, and Anders Anderson coming up to finish the race. So, Troy Cieslawski, Little Caesar, Anders Anderson. Okay. So while Anders is bringing the finish, we'll bring up the results. Okay, so results. Race 2, Thomas Foster coming home in first. Hello Caesar, which isn't correct, in P2. Alan Marks in P3 or 2. Scott Flack will be in P3. Bradley Martin will finish in P4. James Moore in P5. David Borg in P6. Troy Cieslawski in P7. And Anders Anderson in P8. And that'll leave, who else have we got? Okay, and that'll be Hello Caesar in P9. Okay, once again, we've got to prep for race 3. It's going to be 25 minutes again. Please stay tuned, stay with us, and we'll get race 3 underway. We've just got to calculate the grid and then set the grid, and we'll be back after these messages. Or hard-coated case with black pattern leather strap and red stitching. Date, calendar, and 100 meters water resistant. Once again, we'd like to thank our friends at Jewellery on James.
There's a new whiskey in town, one that embodies the strength and character of our people, that dares to do it our own way, crafted by a master distiller to create something uniquely Australian. Ned, Australian whiskey.
If you believe in it, then anything is possible.
With thanks to our sponsors, Jewellery on James at Burleigh Heads, Racecentre is proud to announce that we'll be giving away this Supercars Limited Edition Pulsar watch to the winner of our 2020 V8 League season. The special watch features include chronograph function, stainless steel hard-coated case with black pattern leather strap and red stitching, date, calendar, and 100 meters water resistant. Once again, we'd like to thank our friends at Jewellery on James.
There's a new whiskey in town, one that embodies the strength and character of our people, that dares to do it our own way. Crafted by a master distiller to create something uniquely Australian. Ned, Australian whiskey.
If you believe in it, then anything is possible.
With thanks to our sponsors, Julie and James at Burley Heads, Racecentre is proud to announce that we'll be giving away this Supercars Limited Edition Pulsar watch to the winner of our 2020 V8 League season. The special watch features include chronograph function, stainless steel hard-coated case with black pattern leather strap and red stitching, date, calendar and 100 meters water resistant. Once again, we'd like to thank our friends at Julie and James.
There's a new whiskey in town, one that embodies the strength and character of our people, that dares to do it our own way. Crafted by a master distiller to create something uniquely Australian. Ned, Australian whiskey.
If you believe in it, then anything is possible.
With thanks to our sponsors, Julie and James at Burley Heads, Racecentre is proud to announce that we'll be giving away this Supercars Limited Edition Pulsar watch to the winner of our 2020 V8 League season. The special watch features include chronograph function, stainless steel hard-coated case with black pattern leather strap and red stitching, date, calendar and 100 meters water resistant. Once again, we'd like to thank our friends at Julie and James. Okay, welcome back. We're just about to get underway in race 3, another 25 lap race. The grid is set from the accumulated results of the first 2 races. So we'll go over the grid once the boys have all got on the grid and rolled off for a formation lap. Okay, so there we go. Starting order. On pole will be Thomas Foster. Second next to him will be Scott Flack, both on even points, but Foster won that last one. Alan Marks will start in P3. Hello Caesar in P5, Troy Cieslowski P6, David Borg P7, James Moyer in P8, Anders Anderson in P9. That means Bradley Martin will be starting in P4. Let me just check that. Yes, that's Bradley Martin in P4. So, final race of the night. These guys definitely know how to look after the tyres on this circuit. We haven't seen any pits for tyres as yet. I don't think we're going to see one on this race coming up. So it'll be an on-screen battle. Anders Anderson in the blue Lamborghini for Barwell Motorsport, racing with us from in the shop on our full motion sims. Got David Borg on screen. He's in the Porsche on screen, as we can see there. Who else we got in? Let's go on Marks. He'll be starting in P3 in the yellow Ferrari. Watch this for turn 1. And another driver cam, our leader Thomas Foster, as you can see on screen there. So this race 3, 25 minutes once again. This one should determine who wins the round. As mentioned before, both Scott Flack and Thomas Foster are on even points, and Alan Marks is 1 point behind these two. So whoever wins out of these 3 guys will win the round tonight. So wish them all luck if you're supporting them. Give them a shout out. Right, we're ready for the lights. Okay, 6 seconds to go. 5, 4. Should hear the lights now. Scott Flack's jumped the start, so that's cost him big time. Already jumping the start of the race. And that's cost him a result, and Thomas Foster's fell down in a P5. Probably balked from Flack jumping the gun there. That's Caesar just getting up next to Alan Marks. It's Alan getting the better of those two at the moment. Peter Foster just sitting behind. You can see that sheepish grin, just waiting for something to happen, and there it does. They both go, and Foster's there to clean up, but the gap's closed. Okay, looks like Foster's already moved up into P4, so this is going to be all over the place. There's 3 guys. So it looks like Foster's just played it cool, and he's going to come up trumps as Flack up front, stretched to a 5-second lead. But he's got to serve a penalty, so by my calculations, we're looking at about 3 guys that should be coming in to serve a penalty at the moment for track limits. stay with Foster as it looks like he'll be the leader, but Flack is going to stay out there. So he'll probably try and stretch his lead again before he actually comes in, and that'll reduce the deficit of the penalty. So number 5, James. Where's James? That's James in P5 at the moment. There's 4 guys coming down the turn 1. That's Bradley Martin behind him, and Anders Anderson and Troy Cieslowski. Well, the action's really happening up the front now, like Scott Flack's chasing down James Moyer in P2. And this is, Scott Flack had to serve an earlier penalty for jumping the start there. Not too sure whether you got my commentary at the start there. I've just had a mic issue. But he's fighting his way back now, coming down the main straight, tucking in the draft of James Moyer in the big Bentley. We can see pretty much the next 4 cars down the main straight, as the time gaps aren't that far away from each other. So James is caught 2.7 seconds ahead of David Borg out in front. You see where David is at the moment. He's coming into Kelso, I think it was called. Still out in the lead, but there's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th right behind him. So this is all going to compress up in the next couple of laps, as we see Scott Flack just getting up the inside. So here he comes. Scott Flack moves up into P2 at the moment. And then we've got Moyer, Martin, and Czeslowski, who's just dropped off the back there. So that's Alan Marks, but he's a full lap down behind these guys. So he can either try and get past them as quickly as he can, otherwise he's going to have to yield to the blue flags. But he's been on pace, so hopefully he gets past with no incident. And here's Scott Flack coming up to take the lead ahead of David Borg on screen. Just got to get that run right. Scott's gone a bit too tight, so we can't really get a good run down the main straight. David's hugging the inside line, but Flack's around the outside. They both back off to get the line. David didn't back off, and it's cost Flack some time off the circuit. So top 4 come running down the main, top 5, no, that's Alamar's top 4 coming down the main straight. It's still Borg out front in P1, Scott Flack P2. James Moyer closing up there in P2, and that was, that was Alan Marks flipping at on the curb there. So that leaves us with the top 4 just battling it out. Great racing up the front here. Oh, David Borg almost lost it there, but he's caught it. He's only lost 1 position. David Borg trying to stay on track and stay ahead of these guys. You see the guys chasing him up behind, closing up on the brakes. James just running a bit wide, but he's come back on. Up Samsung, up over the crest. This is David Borg defending P2 as James tries to go wide there. He's just hit the ripples. You can see it upsetting the balance of the car. So we go back on board with David Borg at the moment. Foster's fighting back. He's definitely catching. He's only 15 seconds behind Alan Marks in P7. So this is where the battle's at now. The leaders have all mixed up and served penalties. It's every man for himself, and the guys are just thriving up the front there, giving us an excellent show. As we've still got 3 cars battling out with P2 at the moment. Scott Flack just stretching that lead to 1.5 seconds now. James Moyer in the Bentley. Three cars into the chicane at turn 1. That's Lagos, that corner, and up over the crest down the main straight towards the hairpin at Torre VIP. Borg got the right line, but Martin's trying to get up the inside of Moyer there, but not strong enough to make the move as James Moyer retains P3 at the moment, with Martin wanting that third step of the podium. He's got to watch it there. If he receives too many warnings for cut track, he'll get a penalty. Let's just hope we don't get that screen coming up saying penalty for James Moyer. David Borg still doing well in P2, just locking up the inside as the camber of the circuit changes. It's hard to keep the car under control, but it's all a balancing act. You're trying to brake in a straight line, but the car, you still need the car to turn and make the turn. David's just dropped back to P3 at the moment. Good work from James to move up into P2. And we've got Martin and Borg side by side. Two abreast, look how close it is, bumping and bumping. Coming out of the screen, still Borg ahead of Martin there. And Anders Anderson drops into the pits for a set of tyres. Borg controls the braking going to the chicane there. And Alan Marks is still behind, a lap down, but getting closer to these guys. Martin trying to get past. Scott Flack up the front really hasn't stretched away that much. These guys are doing an excellent job. There's 7.5 minutes to go in the race. Flack just has to stay out there, and that's a penalty for Anders Anderson. Does probably for speeding into pit lane. So Martin, Borg just locking up, and Martin making the most of that, gets the job done as he moves into P3. First race in the GT3s for Brad Martin. He's used to our V8 league. Quite a much heavier car with no downforce. These cars have got much better handling and balance. So he's still holding P4 from David Borg. We've got James Moyer up into P2. And there's the pack close behind him of Martin Borg. Go through the field, Troy Gieslowski. Not too sure if that's for position, and he's coming up. No, that's Foster, just not getting a position, but he's trying to unlap himself from Troy Gieslowski because he's two positions ahead and a full lap ahead. So we've got Alan Marks in P6 at the moment, trying to unlap himself from David Borg. Best thing to do for Borg is just let him go. He's got a full lap to go around and come back, which he's not going to catch him again if he lets him go. Just let him go and then tuck in behind him, trying to use him to get up closer to the guys in front so we can get at least P3 back again. That's Thomas Foster and Anders Anderson coming in to serve his penalty, and Hello Caesar already retiring in P9. So back up the front, it's still, whoa, right behind it, Bradley Martin and Alan Marks. Got to be careful there as Alan's trying to get through and unlap himself, but he just can't interfere with the guys up front because they're in a race of their own. So 5 minutes to go in the race, and it's Scott Flack still out front in the green machine. He took out race 1, and he's probably going to take out race 3 and the round of the for maximum points. Round 5 at Portimao. And then in P2 it's James Moyer kept quiet. Kept in the middle of the field for the first 2 races, but now he's up the front in P2. After a couple of incidences, saw a few drive-through penalties. He takes us through with just over 4 minutes to go. And he's got Brad Martin chasing him down in P3. Brad's lapping in the 152s at the moment, and James Moyer's last lap was 151.5, so about 0.8 second difference there, but it doesn't look like it because we can see them both on screen quite close to each other. There they are. And even Alan Marks is struggling to get past him, and Alan's a seasoned GT3 driver with us in our leagues. And after Brad Martin, it's David Borg. He's was leading the race, but still respectfully in P4 at the moment. The only Porsche on the track, doing a great job for the German crew, Effort Racing. Wojciechowski further back in P5. The gaps are spaced out a bit now, so there's not many guys that are close to each other. We've just got Martin trying to chase down James Moyer in P2. Alan Marks in. Oh, you see, he's just got past Brad Martin, so again, Martin should just let him go, let Alan go, and stay out of trouble, because he's looking at a third step of the podium if he just stays where he is. And that's an awesome effort from where he's started. He only jumped in 10-20 minutes before the quali started, so he's trying to get in the draft and overtake. Show the nose up the inside, but Alan's a bit too strong there. And here comes Foster trying to chase everyone down. He's got 8 seconds to get on Mark, so that'll be another battle. Thomas Foster chasing down Alan Marks in for P6. There's only 2 minutes to go, so I don't think that's going to happen unless Marks get caught up with Brad Martin. But that gap is now spreading out, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. So this is Marks trying to unlap himself from James Moyer in P2. And with 1.5 minutes to go, I think he should just sit there and wait to the end. Doesn't want to affect the race of James Moyer in P2. Got Flack out in front with 1 minute to go, so and he's done exactly what I did in the Formula One. He's tried to brake on the AstroTurf and locked up. I really hope he doesn't get a pit lane drive-through penalty for that cut track. With 1 minute to go, this could be spectacular. James Moyer, and this is for the lead, so that lead's dropped right down now to what looks like half a second gap. So James has just got to chase down Scott Flack in P1, and this will be for the lead of the race. So we'll cross the line with 40 seconds to go, so this will be the last lap of the race. And Flack avoids any cut track penalties, and he rotates again for one more lap to go. So these four up the front, Borg still in P4. Oh, and they both, who was that? That was Alan Marks spinning out. So that leaves James Moyer in P2. So that's your top three on screen right now. The bright green Ferrari of Scott Flack with James Moyer in P2 and Bradley Martin in the red Ferrari. Not the sort of names you see on the podium, but congratulations to these guys. I hope I don't give commentators curse. We've still got half a lap to go. We're watching Brad Martin now. David Borg still in P4. Great job from him. That'll be his best position of the series. Wojciechowski in P5, 7 seconds behind David Borg, and Foster has managed to pass Alan Marks after he spun, and Alan's actually copped another pit lane penalty for cut track. Really severe on this circuit. But just goes to show you got to stay on the black stuff. So Foster, after leading the race earlier on, oh, I should go and watch Scott Flack as we're coming around to take the checkered flag ahead of James Moyer. Scott Flack will be taking race number 3 and the round. 4 points awarded to Scott Flack. Great job from him. And there he takes it, and that's James Moyer crossing the line as well. Bradley Martin, P3, excellent effort from him. Thomas Foster crossing the line in the middle there. And here's David Borg, is this for position? That's Troy Jaslowski. So if he closes in, this could be for the, this is for the race. We've got David Borg on screen, tongue in. Just what's Troy Jaslowski doing? He's bumping him. That's not the way to drive or overtake. And David Borg gets the job done. Congratulations to those two as they take 4 and 5. Foster's already crossed the line. So that means Alan Marks is just serving his penalty now. So he's finished the race, received the checkered. Anders Anderson yet to finish. And where is he? He's coming around the outside to come down the main straight and take the checkered. Now he's coming in the pits. All he's got to do is cross the line, but he's going to finish the race in the pits. Okay, so that was David Borg helping himself out of the sim. Congratulations to these guys. Okay, so race results. It was Scott Flack taking the win after that earlier drive-through. James Moyer in P2 and Bradley Martin, first time on the podium for those two. Congratulations. David Borg in P4, excellent job after leading half of the race there. Troy Jaslowski finishes in P5 just behind David Borg as we saw down the main straight. Thomas Foster managed to rejoin the game and get out for a P6 result. Alan Marks P7 after a couple of pit lane drive-throughs. Anderson from Sweden finishes in P8. Hillel sees a early DNF for P9. Okay, so next race, make sure you join us for Macau. Oh, sorry, Road Atlanta in 2 weeks' time on the 16th of December. We'll be back again for Road Atlanta. That'll be on the 16th of December. So if you want to join us next race for Road Atlanta, just get in touch with us via Facebook or send us a message on Discord. You'll see the link in the description. Just follow that and start communicating with us through that. Until then, hope you enjoyed the coverage. Make sure you hit the like button and the thumbs up, and we'll see you next round. With thanks to our sponsors, Jewelry on James at Burley Heads, Racecentre is proud to announce that we'll be giving away this Supercars Limited Edition Pulsar watch to the winner of our 2020 V8 League season. The special watch features include chronograph function, stainless steel hard-coated case with black pattern leather strap and red stitching, date, calendar and 100 meters water resistant. Once again, we'd like to thank our friends at Jewelry on James.
There's a new whiskey in town, one that embodies the strength and character of our people, that dares to do it our own way, crafted by a master distiller to create something uniquely Australian. Ned, Australian whiskey.
If you believe in it, then anything is possible.